Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, and welcome to another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. This week we watched the December 22nd, 1997 edition of Raw is War, and the match card is as follows. In our opening contest, we have Thrasher taking on Henry Godwin. The Rock takes on The Undertaker. Mark Miro takes on Scott Taylor. Kurgan, formerly the Interrogator, takes on 8 Ball. Ken Shamrock takes on D'Lo Brown. And in our main event, we have Triple H taking on Shawn Michaels for the European Championship. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi.
How are you? I feel like it feels like this has been a long time, but it's just because we haven't filmed in a long time. But
Yeah,
it's been like 2 weeks. For everybody else, they got an episode normal time or whatever. But I feel like we haven't sat down and done
done
this in a
this.
minute. So I feel a little crazy, a little
Me
on the
too.
edge. But before, oh, hello, hello. If you are new here, you're in luck. This is Kelsey. She is also new here. If you are not new here, I am Xavier. I'm here to help you out. So
Yeah.
let's,
You just got
as
so
Thank you.
mm.
As we know, Netflix has done drop the ball. We no longer have every episode of Raw is War. So, when we have a regular Monday Night Raw episode, I will fill in some gaps as
God bless
best as I
you.
can. Highlights of the last 3 weeks since our summer or Survivor Series Fallout episode. Kane is continuing his path of destruction. Anywhere Kane is, Paul Bearer is. Kurgan, we have a new name, I guess. We have now the interrogator now has a proper first name, or last name, or is it like Oprah? Like, because I know that technically is
Please.
her first name, but like. But like really it's just one name. You know what I mean? Like
No,
Kurgan.
but like my beef is how did we get Kurgan?
No one knows. It sounds like
Like,
it literally feels like they just said letters, blender,
period.
Kurgan.
And
Like,
I let me tell you, it was not today or ever that I expected to miss the name the interrogator.
no, really and
Kurgan?
truly.
It sounds like
Although
a brand at IKEA.
it does, but it definitely does, actually.
Oh, I got the new Kurgan coffee maker. Don't you
No,
love?
100%. That's crazy. But no, it's just a big necked guy in all
It's
of
not
his
even
glory.
like it's like the neck, but it's also like this
It's the trap.
specifically the
It's
trap.
Yeah, he has the fattest trapeziuses.
Like almost like as if it's like the equivalent of like when people have webbed fingers. Like it kind of
hmm
looks like his head is webbed to his
Yeah,
shoulder. Does
yeah,
that make sense?
it's giving like triangle with a head on top. I love that you didn't want to say anything
I
back to
was like
that.
rendered speechless. I was like, you know what? No notes. No
Not
notes.
no.
Thank you so much.
Um, so the artist formerly known as Goldust is still mentally collapsing week over week.
Oh, diva.
Um, so
Need
as we
it.
know, at Survivor Series, we had Rock versus Austin for the first time. So there's updates on that one. So the following night on Raw, because of all the shenanigans that happened in the match, Vince McMahon calls out Stone Cold Steve Austin and is basically like, "Hey, you have to defend that title again tonight against The Rock. No shenan. No again." And basically,
No more shenanigans again.
so basically he's like, "You will defend it, or I'm gonna just strip you of the title." And we all know that Stone Cold doesn't really love being told what to do.
Hot.
So he's like, you know what? I got bigger fish to fry anyway. So he's like, you know what? I will give up this Intercontinental Championship. He hands it over to The Rock, who Vince McMahon has dubbed the next in line. And he's like, but you have to shake my hand first. And then he says the ill-fated, trust me, which I don't know why.
How is nobody, is no one watching the show? Is no
That's
one
what I'm
participating
saying.
in the
That's
show?
what I'm saying. but also probably not because they're in the show. You know what I
But
mean? Like
right, it's like that moment where he goes, the only it's in How I Met Your Mother where Marshall goes, the only people that haven't seen Star Wars are the people who are in Star Wars because they lived it. They lived the Star Wars.
right,
And like that's how I feel. It's like, no, you all lived it.
right,
You lived for the swirly. You were there
right,
backstage.
right. You know this
You
man does not like being told what to do. You know.
he's stone cold stunner Vince McMahon.
Yeah,
And he said, "Trust me," and you said, "Sure,
sure.
sure."
Dumb. So, because no one ever learns their lesson in the WWF, of course, The Rock gets a stunner for his efforts, and then in the hubbub, Vince McMahon accidentally gets knocked off the apron by Steve Austin. Flash
Oh.
forward a week. Oh, before that happens, Steve Austin grabs the Intercontinental Championship again and goes, "Oh, I got a surprise for you next week, actually." So, like, hold. So he steals the title back, and then we flash forward a week, and The Rock's starts the show. We see a little bit of like some rifts forming between The Rock and Farouk. We are now seeing um the real personality of The Rock coming out.
Mm.
And that is clearly rubbing people the wrong way. Namely
Mm-hmm.
Farouk. You can kind of tell just by his miffed expressions as of late. So The Rock speaking, Farouk goes to like grab the mic to say something, and um, The Rock puts like his hand up and is like, "With all due respect, the champ is speaking," and then continues on. And my God, Farouk looked flabbergasted. He was just like, "Did this bitch?"
Just okay, but
Go ahead.
I'm putting my tea down. I have two things. One, I'm sorry, Fruit. Leaders lead. Where have you been? You're not
Right.
exactly the North Star of the Nation of Domination. I am so sorry, girl.
Yeah.
I because every time, even when Rocky Maivia wasn't in the Nation, we were always like, Farouk's supposed to be in charge, but the only time he really took charge was that one time he fired everybody.
Right.
And because it was the only time, they played it 6,000 times. I had to
Right.
watch him fire those people 6,000 times.
100%. And then we got their like villain origin stories out here, and then they had to go out and find new friends. It was a whole thing.
The
And
whole
like,
thing.
but it's like, how mad can you be really? Like,
Yeah. And my other thing was, I feel like Farouk's face always looked like that.
that's also true.
He was always big pissed at something, and that's fine. I love that. It's not a diss. It's just like he was always giving sour grapes.
You're
But
actually
now
very correct.
he's actually eating the grapes.
Mm.
And now the face is authenticated by the flavor. Do you know what I mean?
Amen. 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 So, we flash forward in the evening, and it is like, how do I want to phrase this? So we cut to again, the nation's back in the ring. They're waiting Stone Cold because he's supposed to hand over the title
And
like once and
Rocky
for
gave him like
all.
an hour. He was like, you have
Yeah.
1 hour to turn over the belt
Yeah,
or
until the end
whatever.
of the show. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And of course, Austin shows up on the Titantron. He's just by a river. So he's just chilling. He's like, "Oh, like I have some things for you first before I give you the title, because if you're gonna like get the title, you're gonna need a couple things." So basically, Steve Austin, like he's Carrot Top, starts just pulling out props. He's like, "Here's your little scuba mask and your goggles. Here's a like oxygen
Oxygen
tank
tank.
that he like throws over. He's like, you're gonna need those." He pulls out a cell phone. He's like, "So when you find the belt, you can give me a call and I'll answer you on this pager. You just got
Like,
316 on the pager, and I'll know you got the belt." And then he's like, "Oh, and this right here," and he's like, "This kind of pains me a little bit to do it, but since I don't really give a like crap about you or the WWF, go get it." And you're like,
throws the belt in the river.
"Throws the belt in the river.
By the
Goodbye."
way, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
after doing this whole rigmarole screwing over Bret Hart so he didn't go anywhere with the belt. But we're
Different
throwing the belts in the river now.
different belt.
I know, but you know what I mean. Like, I
It's
get
a
it. I
completely
get,
different scenario.
I know, but I'm just like,
No,
this is,
you're mad about something else and you're trying to bring it into this. It is a completely
and
different
what?
scenario. And
And
what?
what?
It's a different scenario. He was going to take
Whatever,
he was
girl.
going to take the belt to a different company and
So we're taking it to the elements, the river.
it's part of the show.
I know it's part of the show, but here's my other thing because whew, here's the other thing. So now when we forfeit the belt, Vince goes, okay, put it on Rocky because he's the next in line. We don't do fights anymore. We don't do tournaments anymore. We don't do, okay, he's abstaining
Right.
from being the title holder. We're just going to give it to the
But
next
this is
guy.
also
I know.
the rise of Vince McMahon
Vince
throwing his weight
McMahon.
around. Like he's a character now.
It's working on me. I was like,
Yeah,
why we're just giving him the belt?
that's what I'm saying. Like
Because when Shawn Michaels had to
the
get
thing
his
about Vince,
smile back, it was
right.
like who's gonna
Yeah,
like
but Vince was just a commentator then. Vince McMahon,
uh,
the character, does
uh
not want Stone Cold to succeed.
and you
That
know
is
what? Maybe I'd understand that more if Netflix put the episodes up.
amen. Amen.
Because
Go
I'm
ahead,
just
pop
gonna
off. Go ahead. No, you this one I agree with. Go ahead.
Netflix, I want you to know that today was not the day to test me. I don't know what it
Mm.
is about today. I have this abject sense of anger. It's misplaced, it's misguided. It has no firm target until the heat-seeking missile sensed on you.
Mm.
Now I'm after
Amen.
you because
Amen.
I can't have. Sorry, I'll put this down now.
No, you can.
I don't get the river episode. We had to watch that as a YouTube clip.
No, Leah.
I don't get to watch the whole episode where Rocky watches Stone Cold throw the belt into the river. That's
Right.
not good enough for Netflix.
Right.
Oh my God. You have some nerve, Netflix. You have
No,
some nerve. I don't
really
get
and
to see
truly.
that. Like, that is outrageous, disgusting behavior. And maybe I would understand the story arc a little bit more if I got to see the
The
building up.
arc. If I got to
If
see
I
the
got to
arc.
see the arc instead of suddenly I show up at Noah's house and he's got this boat out here.
Right. Right.
Different arc, but you see what I did there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Suddenly
Uh,
we're walking 2 by 2 onto the plank and I don't know what's happening.
right.
But I'm just saying, like, Netflix, you are so crazy for this. I do not understand. And like I'm
I'm
livid.
also just like like what is the thought process as to what episodes made it and which ones didn't?
I'm like
Because like
wondering
this one that we're gonna get into, like I get why it made it.
of course.
It's a huge one, but that river moment is also a huge moment that gets played all of the time. It's not like it's not nothing. And like if I wasn't going back and like pulling these like literally I'm reading synopsises of
Insane.
30-year-old Monday Night Raws to be like, am I missing something important? To be like, is there a YouTube video somewhere? Netflix, you're making my life hard for
You're
no reason.
and Xavier has like 6 jobs. Like I just like this is just like unfair. This
Honestly.
was supposed to be like a little thing we did, and obviously we it's still the thing we do and we love it and it's amazing, but like it shouldn't have to be this hard on my boy. And he's like
Thank
trying to do
you.
right by me because like sometimes I'm worried about looking things up because of spoilers. Like I don't know, but
Right.
you're ruining my life, Netflix.
Amen. Amen. So let's get back into some things we've missed. So it is announced that The Undertaker will be taking on Shawn Michaels for the WWF Championship in a casket match at the Royal Rumble.
We get
Love
back
to
to our
see it.
roots.
Love to see it. Love to see it. For those of you who have been following along, this will be the third meeting between Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. The Undertaker, through one reason or another, DX, Kane, has not been able to get the better of Shawn Michaels. So this is why we're circling back, and now it's in a match that is essentially designed for The Undertaker.
Hot.
So, Shawn's gonna have to deal with that. Mark Henry has made his in-ring debut. He was suffering from a broken ankle that he got while he was training.
I missed Mark Henry's in-ring
So
debut. Netflix?
you didn't miss his in-ring debut. He debuted against Jerry the
No, I
King Lawler.
know, but
Re-debut, I guess.
I know.
But so Mark Henry is back in the fold.
Thank
So
God.
and then we kind of get more of an update on like Owen Hart. Owen is essentially taking on this like Lone Ranger. Basically he's like he had a promo during this where he was basically like Bulldog's gone, Brett's gone, Neidhart's gone. No, I have spent X amount of years building my reputation here. Nobody's running me out of town. Thank you very much.
Oh my
And
God. Never been hotter, by the way.
no, literally never been hotter. We'll talk about that later.
Never been hotter, by the way.
But like I've never been more into Owen Hart than when he just shows up, kicks ass, and leaves. It's
Scurries.
amazing. Amazing.
And that is so fierce because I was thinking about that. It's like that was literally his brother, like blood that like grew
Mm-hmm.
up in the same house. And he was like, not me. You think I'm gonna go quietly into the night?
Mm-mm.
Think again,
He's like,
bitch.
you're not running me
Oh,
out of town. Not
I
me.
love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm. I
Owen.
love to see it. So that's kind of the ongoing storylines. There's a few more, but they progress in the episode, so I'll backtrack when I need to there. Um, but let's get into this episode. Again, this is the December 22nd, 1997. It is the last episode, if you're watching on Netflix, of 1997 that is available. So, for everybody, just a little programming note. Two programming notes. This episode will be the final episode of season 2, because we're seasoning in terms of the years. So season 1 was 1996, 1997 was season 2. So that means that our following episode, which is going to be an After Dark on Luna Vachon, because she has become a character in the show and we basically know next to nothing about her.
Not a thing.
So season 3 is going to kick off with After Dark, Luna Vachon. And then a new segment for the show. It will start next week as well. We are going to start watching Evolve. WWE has launched a new show where essentially they have given contracts to a slew of independent wrestlers, like a bunch of them,
Wow.
who they like think have potential to like make their way like into the WWE system. So while they are also wrestling on the independents, which is like a first for the WWE, really, they also will be wrestling on this weekly show called Evolve. So that basically it is like what NXT kind of used to be. NXT was or and still is like the developmental like territory for the WWE's two main shows, SmackDown and Raw. But
Mm,
now Netflix or not Netflix, NXT has become its own like it's on a network. It's its own thing.
yeah.
And while it still feeds into that system, there's still a level of polish that you need to possess before you end up on national television.
Right.
Evolve is kind of like the step before that. So it's like all of these people who have like kind of made a name for themselves on the independents now kind of being given the opportunity to kind of enter the WWE system.
I love
And
this.
so, yeah, it's great. And because they're new to the WWE, I thought it would be great since we are new to wrestling to follow their journey as well.
I'm gonna get so emotionally invested in these people, by the way. Like,
Yeah,
y'all
I
are not
know.
ready for this. It's
Um,
gonna
s-
be
yeah,
upsetting.
it's gonna be great. So if you want to follow along, if you are in America, you can watch on Tubi. If you are international, it is available on YouTube. Evolve for you all.
You came with all the info today. Like you,
Really, I came in with all the info.
I love
So,
it.
so look forward to that, because I just think it's just the perfect show to kind of go along with our show. Yet to be determined if I will be releasing it as its own separate kind of mini podcast or if it'll just be incorporated into the show. But just be on the lookout for that. Very excited.
Very exciting.
Um, it
I
I think
love
it
this
might take the
concept.
place of our what used to be our like Thursday, Saturday schedule. I think a mini evolve on the weekend might be nice.
I would love that. And I think this concept is really, really cool. And I think it's interesting. It's like an interesting way to go because it almost feels like, and I guess we'll talk more about it when we get into a ball, but it kind of almost feels like because like originally there were the territories and then it became like the huge conglomerates, whatever, but it kind of feels like a little bit of harkening back to like sampling the territories. Do you know what I
No,
mean?
yeah, it
Yeah,
is
I'm
very much
into
so.
it.
And
I'm
I think,
excited.
yeah, I think it's a good move on the WWE's part, and also something that would never have happened with um with Vince. Because we have two shows essentially. We have Evolve, which is the independent wrestlers, and then we also have um LFG, which is essentially like a like people who are brand new to the business being mentored by superstars. So that's also happening at the same time. So
That
that
is so
now,
cool.
so now the WWE has two more essentially like funnels to pull talent from. Like two more methods. All the while still producing more content and earning more money. Like, so it's
That's
crazy.
really crazy. The people at the helm of WWE are doing some
Crazy
really
because they
interesting
got shows on
things.
A&E. They have a deal with A&E. They're on Peacock. They're on Netflix. Their SmackDown was on Fox. I think it's on USA now. But like their shows premiering all over the place. There's never been a better time to be a wrestling fan. If you love wrestling, there is a wrestling show on every single day of the week, and on most weekends some promotion is one of the like three big ones is having a pay-per-view or like a special event. So like I'm telling you guys, I'm like overwhelmed with the amount of wrestling. I cannot actually keep up. So
Mm.
look
Which is
forward
fun because
to
then it makes almost like healthy competition. It's kind of harkening back to the Monday Night Wars because it's like, what are you going to watch? Like, what are you going to
right.
choose to invest your time
Yeah,
in?
and but the thing is like it's so different in the way that the way that media is consumed today
Oh,
that
yeah.
like
Hmm.
because
As a
it
whole nother element.
but yeah, because it was like you literally had to be in front of the TV from 9 to 11 and like
Yeah.
you had to pick. But nowadays like you can catch it all. Like we are currently like Evolve just aired today. I think it just finished 20 minutes ago. But I can go home and watch it whenever and I love it.
Very
But
true.
let's get into this
Oh,
episode.
yeah. Sorry.
No, 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 you're totally fine. We'll also have a another brief little break later on, but you'll get a little discount code out of the deal if you're interested. So let's get into this episode. It opens up with a video package of the Legion of Doom. They have been continuing their feud with the New Age Outlaws. We have basically they're going through like the history of the Legion of Doom, how they've been this like prolific tag team, yada yada, and basically it goes down to like how they were treated last week. And essentially what it boiled down to was DX and the New Age Outlaws kind of teaming up to really get the better of the Legion of Doom and then some. So at some point during that whole interaction, Jesse James like chloroforms like Hawk and like drags him into the ring and then shaves his mohawk, which is crazy and like honestly kind of hate to see because they're so
Hate
like
to see.
respected, like I'm just like, ooh, don't do that.
I don't
Not
like
that.
that.
Not that.
Mm-mm. It feels like
So
hazing, but with like very respectable, like,
people who should have already been hazed. Like, what are we?
yes, thank you.
Like, yeah, it's just like, what are we
Some,
doing?
mm-mm, mm.
So, the basically we don't get any more from the Legion of Doom this episode, but just know that's coming. But the actual show in the arena starts. And this is the like go home episode before the holidays. So the arena like decided to pump in some snow. Love to
It
see it.
was
It was
amazing, and it
magical.
it snowed the whole time.
Yeah,
I
every
thought it was
time
just
there
gonna be
wasn't an actual match on,
it
like
was
it was
just
snowing.
snowing.
Yeah,
I
like
want that to happen in my house.
it was like a little snow globe. It was
It's
beautiful.
really cute.
Love to see it. Love to see it. So basically DX calls out the New Age Outlaws because they both want credit for taking out the Legion of Doom. And
Which, by the way, took five of you to take out two people. So
y-
let's all
let's
have a come to Jesus moment here.
right, yeah, but that's not gonna happen.
Mm.
So basically, the gist of the call out of the New Age Outlaws was check yourself before you wreck yourself. And then Triple H turns his attention to Owen, and he's like, I don't fear you anytime, anywhere. Like, I'll
You can
run
catch these
you and your
hands.
little buddies. You're the only holdout. So, like, what are we really doing here? Um, so then Shawn Michaels calls out the Undertaker because they have a match, obviously. And he's like, Dead man. Third time's not going to be the charm. I don't want to break it to you. So sorry. Couldn't do it the first time. Couldn't do it the second time. I mean, granted, we're missing some details, but hey, that's what Shawn
Right.
does best. And basically he goes, you can ask any woman. The Heartbreak Kid does not rest in peace. In fact, he can stay up all night. And you're like, mm. Mind you, DX is out here in these robes.
Like terry
Robes.
cloth bathrobes.
Yep. And then they're like, oh, and of course, like DX has a surprise for you. They disrobe. They're wearing like just like WWF boxers. It's all like they're like oversized. Ha ha ha. They
There's
turn
like
around.
presents. Yeah.
Yeah, they turn around. China's got a big bow and an X right across her ass. The two then decide that now is the time. The time is now. And they rip off the boxers. They have jock straps and things underneath. If you're watching this episode, the picture will actually be on the cover of the episode and also like one of these. So you can to your
Wait,
heart.
the uncensored one?
The one in the jock straps, yes.
Because they're
It's
censored when you watch the episode. And
yes,
I
it
was
is
literally,
censored when you watch the
I'm
episode.
sorry, I'm so sick. I was literally like this close. I was like,
No, 100%. Well, that's probably because
trying
like
to see
when they took off they were like bent over, so it was probably just like whole.
hole.
Like, you know what I mean? So they probably like had to. Like, you can't put a hole on national
Hole.
television.
The
Like,
way it just went hole.
so crazy.
What a sin.
Of
Merry
course they have.
Christmas.
Yeah, of course they have mistletoe. They're like, grabbing it
Fuck her up
above
and
their
kiss it,
ass. They're saying,
Whoville.
kiss me underneath the mistletoe. Sean goes, Santa never looked so good or so big for that matter.
And he says, you put that Yuletide log in your fireplace.
Thanks,
The
Triple H.
scream, I scrumped.
No, literally. I was like, okay.
Deck the halls indeed, my God. Not the Yuletide log.
Amen.
Not my fireplace.
So of course, sh- get a grip. Of course, Sergeant Slaughter
I'm trying to.
sees jail.
I'm sorry. I told you guys today's not the day. Today's not the day.
So Sergeant Slaughter sees the chaos, comes out, and was like, "Yo, what is this?" And then he informs Shawn Michaels that he hasn't defended the title in nearly the contractually obligated amount of time.
I mean,
And not no. So,
Not no.
he says that he has to defend the title tonight against a person of his choosing. And of course, Shawn, having the mouth on him that he does, he's like, anytime, anywhere, any place, don't care, doesn't matter. And he goes, well, funny you say that, actually, because you will be defending the European Championship against Triple H. Love it.
I
Love to see
love
it.
this. I did not see this coming at all. I thought he was gonna say like Kane, which
Mm.
also would have been fierce. But when he goes, your little friend right here, Triple H. I
Hmm.
would actually he uses his full government name. He goes Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Right.
That is so funny. I
Hmm.
love that.
And yeah, and then we get into like Triple H grabs the mic and he's like, "Oh, like I don't want to like embarrass Shawn by beating him in front of everybody." And of course, like Shawn's like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa!" Thus creating like a little rift, a little competition.
Yes.
We love to see it.
Love to see it. I think this is so great. Obsessed.
Fantastic. So in our first contest, we have headbanger Thrasher taking on Henry Godwin of the Godwins. Um, uh, the the headbangers have a real men wear skirts merch.
Love.
Love it. Love to
I
see it.
want to
I
see if
actually
they still
really
have
want that
that.
shirt.
I
Yeah.
was just gonna say we have to
Um,
see if they still have those.
yeah, it's gonna have to be like in a vintage shop somewhere. I doubt they're like still selling them,
I know
but
Suplex Vintage
SVW,
Wrestling, get on this, please. We
100%
need
source
these.
those for me.
We will pay
Uh,
top dollar.
100%. I also just entered a competition to win a championship belt, so if you could pick me, that'd be great. Um,
Yeah. It's that time of year.
really and truly. So, uh, this match is so short. Like,
Very strange.
what even is happening? Um, Henry Godwin or the Godwins get interviewed by Michael Cole. And basically, the gist of it magazine is payback is going to be ugly. And then they call out the New Age Outlaws and is like, don't think we forgot about you. You still owe us a title shot.
Boo.
And you're like, oh, baby, they may be dumb, but they're not forgetful. So don't.
And sometimes that's more important, I'll be
That's what
honest.
I'm saying. So this match basically ends in a disqualification when for some reason Phineas like breaks up a pinfall attempt like from Thrasher on
Ooh.
Henry Godwin and then like
It's just over.
yeah, well yeah, it's just like I mean it is not a tag team match so he shouldn't have done that but it's just like
Right,
but
right.
it's just like
We've turned our heads at a lot
right.
less. Like I don't know. Like it was random. It ended so quickly that I was still watching it, and then Xavier's like, "Wait, how did it end?" And I go, "Did it end?"
Yeah, I was
Because
like
it
I
just
heard the bell.
and so we literally had to rewind because I was like, "What just happened?" It was so
Yep,
confusing.
Phineas comes in, just breaks up a pinfall like it's a tag team match, gets a disqualification. He slop drops Mosh, and then they start beating up the headbangers with like leather straps. You're like,
Yeah, and they brought out the slop bucket, and instead of slop in there, it was two leather belts
yeah,
or
mhm,
straps,
yep.
whatever.
Um, so, and then
Crazy.
some officials come to try and break it up, and they start like swinging it around. I'm like, I don't want to go in there.
I want let them do their thing. I don't
Uh,
care. They don't pay
mm-mm.
me enough.
No, absolutely not. And then we get a little video package of the New Age Outlaws who have recently been feuding with Dude Love slash Mankind.
A mistake.
And Dude Love has picked up victories over both members, only to, in the past couple of weeks, only to be beaten up after the match. And then after that video package, it cuts to Mankind in the bowels of the arena. Word of the
Back at his
day
roots,
was bowels.
bowels. Oh,
They could not get enough. Word of the day, bowels. Both Jim Cornette and Jim Ross just could not stop saying it all day long. Uh,
all episode long. Bowels, bowels, bowels. All right, like
and yeah,
that's
yeah, honestly. And of course, this promo from Mankind was so good. It was damn near perfect.
oh my
Uh,
God.
he's like,
Sensational.
he's like, so like, oh, so you see, like, you think I'm just gonna just meddle in Dude Love's like business? Like, why don't I let like Dude Love handle it himself? He's like, well, the funny thing about it is when Dude Love breaks his ribs, I feel it too. And you're like, yeah, duh, you're the same person.
It's so
It's so good.
it's so
And
good.
then, oh, it's so good. And then he like switches it into like a kind of like a holiday like theme. And he tells the New Age Outlaws that it's better to give than receive. And I will give you the beating of your life and you will receive them. And then, yeah, it was just so good. It was just so, and then he called it the fight before Christmas.
Uh
I love it. I love
Nicholas
it.
Foley. Nicholas Foley, you are the angel on top of my Christmas tree. I know for us it's March, but I'm just saying.
Right. No, really and
I
truly.
there's just no one better than him. Like in the ring, in the promos, in character, like just everything about him. I'm like, who is better than Mick Foley?
Right. I,
I
oh,
just don't know. I'm literally what she is. He is the mother I never had, the
oh my
sister
God.
everyone wants.
So true. And to think like you were not about it. Like
No, I was not. Guys, one day, well, a master compilation of the timeline of like how I was turned. Because I was like, I
no,
don't like
honestly.
Mick. It's disgusting. Or like mankind is like, it grosses me out. And does the mandible claw still gross me out? Certainly it
Yes.
do. Certainly it do.
Mm-hmm.
But he's just, you can't help it. You
No, I know.
cannot help it. You just fall. It's just crazy. You just fall right in love with him. I don't
But
know.
it's he's so smart and so well
He's so
spoken
smart.
and is so willing to just like put his body on the line. You're just like, how do you not respect that? Like it's impossible not to. Um,
He's got the most gorgeous hair I've ever seen
truly,
in my life.
truly,
Like,
truly. Still does. Still got a full head of
oh,
hair.
and that's
Uh,
because unproblematic
thank
angel.
you.
Unproblematic
Thank
angels
you.
don't go bald, bitch.
Thank you. So next, we are treated to a what kind of happened last week when Raw went off the air, and it's this little segment where Santa is being a perv and wants Sable to come out and sit on his lap, essentially.
Ew.
And when a child, one of the baby Usos, for those of you who watch wrestling today, Jimmy and Jay Uso, former tag team champions, Jay has a main event at WrestleMania coming up. So little baby Jay or Jimmy couldn't tell you they're twins. So especially when twins are like kids, you really can't fucking tell.
Yeah.
So baby Jay is like, you're not Santa.
And period.
That's weird. And then Santa being like miffed that he has to, I don't know, speak to child, even though he's in a I don't know, Santa costume, kicks him out of the ring, and you're like, okay. And then that prompts Stone Cold to come out and is like, what is this? Like
Did you
you
just kick that child out of the ring? I
no
love this.
no, he's like, did you really just he's like, I don't care who you were waiting for. You don't kick a kid out of the ring as Santa. He's like, you must not be Santa. And he's like, no, I'm the real Santa. He's like, okay, bet. So when Stone Cold was 6, and you're like, what the fuck?
Which, by the way, he goes a few years ago when
No,
I was 6.
no, fully. He was like, and Stone Cold had been a good SOB all year. What did Stone Cold want? And the faux Santa goes a Barbie doll and tiddlywinks.
Girl, Tiddlywinks was not on my bingo card for things I would ever hear about again in my whole life.
No, ever, ever,
I
ever.
forgot they existed and were a thing.
Mm-mm, so funny. He's like, what do you say? He's like, there sure as hell was no Barbie dolls, and I can tell you where to put every single last one of your tiddlywinks. And he goes, "Are you Santa? Or are you just a fat guy in a suit?" You're like, he's like, "Why don't you just like stand up here? Let me get a good look at you." Stuns him, stuns him.
And you should have seen that coming, Santa.
No, 100%.
I don't know
Um,
how we keep not learning this lesson. I'm okay with it. I love to watch the girlies get stunned, but
no, really,
nobody knows anything.
really and truly, and I love that while he's getting stunned, Jim Cornette is on commentary and he goes, he cracked Chris's Kringle. And I just thought that was, I love an alliteration. I
I
really
love
do.
Jim. And I love a little wordplay where it's like
Mm,
Chris's Kringle.
Cute, cute, cute.
Jim.
Next it cuts to what is the DX locker room door, and you can hear the boys beefing. So drama.
This is
And
literally me at the door.
love it. And then Shawn Michaels like storms out, hair ablazing, all that good stuff.
Mm.
Um, so that takes us to our next match, which is The Rock taking on The Undertaker. The Rock has now started dubbing himself the People's Champion. That is going to be a thing to this day.
Hmm.
The Rock is the People's Champion. I don't know if this is their first meeting, The Rock and The Undertaker, but it's definitely the first meeting of like The Rock versus The Undertaker. We may have seen Rocky
Rocky
Maivia.
Maivia. Oh, I don't
Um,
remember.
but I
Obviously, didn't leave
don't
much of an impression if we
right.
did.
But it was like but this is like the character we know and the character we know.
It's
So it's love to see
happening.
it. The Undertaker is owning the early part of the matchup until he goes to do old school on the top rope, and he has Rock by like his arm, and he turns and sees Paul Bear at the top of the stage entrance, and that's when the uh advantage switches. The nation starts taking advantage. And then The
Mm-hmm.
Rock starts getting his licks in. Taker fights back through the match, hits The Rock with the tombstone, lights go out, everything's red. Kane and Paul Bear come out. And Paul Bear on the mic is like, feast your eyes on your phenom. It was like he's like you are a shell of what you once were. And he's like you won't even step up and face your brother like a man. And you're like, "Oh, what is happening?" Um
Reading the girls.
no, fully.
I hate to see it.
And of course, Kane, no qualms about fighting his brother, starts beating down on his brother. The Undertaker finally like looks like he's going to like do something. He like extends a hand, holds him back, clenches a fist, and we're like, nope, not yet.
Blue
Not
balled.
not yet. Um, Kane continues to beat up the Undertaker, leaving him basically lifeless in the ring, and Paul Bear leaves us with kind of an a foreboding message that 1998 is going to be the year of Kane. Like, is that a spoiler? We'll find out.
Mm,
So,
I'd love to see more of him.
amen, 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 amen. So we get into our next match, which is supposed to be the European Championship match. We get Shawn Michaels DX entrance. The music continues. Triple H is gonna make his way out, and Hari Boom Body Owen comes out, takes Triple H out by the knee, starts walloping on his face.
Mm,
Mm, love that guy.
he looked
Love that
good.
guy. He looked good in his tight black jeans, his hoodie. Love it.
And they
Love
got a
it.
great angle too because obviously there's the head-on angle of Triple H coming out of the tunnel, and then later they go, "Oh, let's see it from," and they had like almost a bird's eye view, so you
Hmm.
could really see him like run in and take him out at the knees. Woo! I love to
It
see
was great.
it.
Love
God,
to
he
see
looks
it.
great.
Um, so we cut back to the New Age Outlaws, and they're still on their hunt for mankind in the bowels of the building.
Oh,
And they've got like construction like miners hats with like the light on
the headlamps.
yeah, and so they're like they're scouring. I don't know why, just because it's the basement, like there are no lights. I don't get it. But um so they come across somebody and just beat him up, thinking
They're
that
like,
it's
"Oh, it's
mankind,
mankind," because who
and
else would be in here?
not mankind, just rando.
Just the random man. And they never explain it. They never explain who he is, why he's down there, what he's doing, and the state
Nope.
of his health. They just beat him up and go, "Oops, sorry,
Well, the state of his
bye."
health is no longer.
Is deceased.
Yeah, honestly. But I love it. I love the hunt for mankind. I really do.
It's silly, goofy nonsense.
Hmm.
And I just love that people are once again forgetting that like mankind used to be the only person that could take on the Undertaker, and they
Right.
think Tweedledum and Tweedledee are gonna do some damage by which how are you sneaking up on him if you got headlamps? Hi. Like I don't know, I just like it's just a silly goofy time. Merry Christmas.
No, literally. The logic was not logicking. But
No.
speaking of which, Mark Miro comes out to take on Scott Taylor. And he comes out and he grabs the microphone, hits us with a little promo, and is like, I know normally I really don't appreciate when you all look at my property.
Ew. He literally said property, by the way.
Property. Yes.
Mm.
He's like, but it's the holidays, so I'm feeling a little generous.
Hmm.
He's like, Sable, why don't you come out here and show everybody your outfit? She is in a head to toe Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer fit, complete with mascot head
Yeah,
and,
like a
and nose
onesie
and nose
full
that lights up.
on like
Yeah.
costume, not like a cute like ooh she's a sexy like legit
No, this isn't Mean Girls.
mascot
This
at the
is yeah.
mall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she comes out in the Rudolph costume, and of course Mark Miro's treating her like shit, and Jim Ross goes, "That's no way to treat like a lady," and then Jim Cornette goes, "That's like barely a way to treat a reindeer," and you're like, "Damn,
And
that's."
he was so quick with it. He goes, "That's not even really a good way to treat a reindeer." And we were just like,
I don't know why that got me so good.
so good. Jim Cornette on commentary. And
I
again, he's
love it.
another one that flipped me. Like, I was like,
Uh-huh.
ew, Jim, shut up. But him on commentary,
So
he is
funny.
so quick. Oh my God. He was so funny. But my good friend Sable, I need you to rise up, girl. Rise up. Like, why are you letting this happen? Like, I
Mm.
don't understand. And I will
Stay
say her,
tuned.
ugh, I know it gets worse than this.
No. I meant
Oh,
she's
okay, yes. I also know that
she's a
happens.
person. She will only take so much.
And I will say they sell it so amazingly. Like her body language. I mean, you can't see her face.
Yeah.
You can't see her. So her body language, she even just like
Looks
looks
defeated.
defeated, embarrassed, ashamed. Like this is so mortifying that like,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, disrobe me, Sable. And he's laughing at her.
Right.
Ooh. If you make
Mm-hmm.
your wife the butt of the joke, bitch, ooh. Ooh, that makes me mad. If you make your manager, the butt of the joke, and you're just ha ha he up there after
Mm-hmm.
she stood by you with your stupid little injury. I know it was a real injury, whatever. But
Right.
like that
Right.
took for
Right. My thing also is like I hate when like married people
oh,
like, oh, the old ball and chain, blah blah. If
ooh.
you don't like this bitch, why are you married? Can we
I
like can we stop doing that as a society? Like, please? Like,
that
you're supposed to like your person. Like,
you
it's not a foreign concept. Like, that's the point. Like, what are
I
you doing?
thank you. You have no idea. This is one of my greatest pet peeves. The old ball and chain, my old lady, my I will throw you in the river. I
Right.
will literally like that is so weird to me. Like, oh, I gotta check in with the shut up. I like,
Right.
oh God, it makes me so mad. And like obviously the gig is working. Like it pisses me off, it makes me mad. I want to punch Mark
Uh-huh.
Hero in the nuts.
Right.
And like I want Sable to just be like her free, independent, titty fucking busting out of the corset self. Like I just
Right.
that is her right.
Right. Right.
But yes, I if you address your spouse that way, please
Get a grip.
let's have a get a grip, have a hard long look in the mirror, and let's get to the root of why we feel the need to degrade our spouses like that.
Right. And JR does get to the root. He calls it an inferiority complex, which is exactly
Period.
what it is.
And thank
Uh,
you. Ooh.
Sable is the star. Scott, I will say a note about the match because the match was obviously second to the story.
Right.
Um, Scott Taylor does a flipping like a somersault leg drop, and it is
Gorgeous.
gorgeous. I just wanted to give him his kudos for that. It was
He said,
gorgeous.
you won't forget me right quick." He goes, "I'm gonna do at least something where you go, wait a minute, who is that? Scott Taylor?
Right.
Oh, okay, that
Right.
was fierce." He really, both of us were like, "Okay, Scott,
Hmm.
let's
So,
go."
the match continues. Mark Miro hits the TKO, picks up the victory, and then is attacked by Salvatore Sincere, or at least that's what he was formerly known. I don't remember. His name is Tom something.
It's another like two first names situation.
And that allows Mark Miro to be like knocked out. And on the ground outside of the ring. And during this time, I love this. Sable, instead of going to console her mans, walks up to the ring steps and is like, actually, now's the
Da-na-na-na-na.
time for my fit. So she has on these like this like the just the hottest little
Ooh,
Mrs. Claus fit with the John Lennon sunglasses.
uh,
She looked so good. She looked so good.
so the
And the
high
heels,
heels.
she looked good. She
Her
looked really,
legs are
really good.
incredible. And they were in black tights,
And
and
that
they were just
skirt. the
Oh,
outline of that skirt, it was just like,
the
mm-hmm.
I said I was like Sable walked so that Regina George could run. I
No,
mean, and they
100%.
I'm so sorry. I love Mean Girls. I love the whole thing, but they couldn't hold a candle to her. The quality
No.
of the Sable Mrs. Claus.
No, that was crazy.
Oh,
The
yes, girl.
and I love that they immediately, whoever was in the sound like thing knew exactly what was up. They played that like
The
wild man
Sable.
music
Yeah.
immediately. I was like, "Ooh, thank
And she
you."
just was like, I just want to wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas.
Like leaving them. I love it because she's like, she knows what she's doing, but she leaves them like wanting more. Where I
Yeah.
feel like Sunny was just like, I'll give it to you right now.
Yeah. And no, Sunny was just like, do you guys want me to whip my titties out? Or,
Right.
and
And like
Sable's more
fully
like,
just like on Jerry's lap, just like like get a grip. Like, aren't you on commentary? Like, what
and
are
then
you
she'd be like,
doing?
oh, stop. And then just like get up and we're like, wait.
I was like, do you need another quarter for that ride? Like, get a grip. Like, like, Jesus. Um,
Not a quarter for the ride. Like, no. It's just like the
it's either in the shape of a fire truck or a horse.
or a horse. But if you're down the shore, it's a dolphin.
It is a dolphin.
Outside the pizza joint. It's a dolphin.
Cheese balls.
With the cheese balls. Yes, girl. That's my culture is not your costume.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Oh, oh my
So
God, a quarter to ride them.
so stupid.
I'm gonna
So
laugh about that again later. I just know it.
Sable had her moment, thank God, because we had a moment for Sable. Um, so I can't wait to watch me bouncing on that chair again.
Visual of you turning to the side.
Sorry, everybody, we've lost our minds.
Oh
Oh,
my God, I can't breathe. If you guys are only listening on Spotify, I'm so sorry, or
stop what
wherever.
you're
I'm
doing and
so
go to
sorry.
YouTube.
Go
Open YouTube immediately. Um,
oh my
so I'm gonna use this little break
God.
as an opportunity for another little note. So if you guys like kind of like outdoor clothing brands, a la, your Patagonias, your North
You're R
Face,
you're
etc.
REI chic, yeah.
Right. Um, I have got a little discount code for you guys to get 10% off any of your purchases there. So, it is Beaten Path Co. The website's beatenpathco.com. It is run by this like amazing creator, and he obviously does this for a living as well, but he's probably one of the most positive people I know on the internet, and it's his business. So I have a little coupon code for you. So if you guys want 10% off anything on the Beaten Path Co. website, it is new to wrestling. NEWTOWRESTLING. New to wrestling is the coupon code if you want to get 10% off anything on the Beaten Path Co. website. That is all.
Thank you, Beat Path Co.
Thank you. So back into the show, we have a backstage interview with Triple H, and I love this because we essentially get the same interview two time. This first time with Triple H, and then later on with Shawn. So it's Triple H and China sitting in the locker room, and I love this like um like only DX gets to hear China speak
I love this
situation that we're
angle.
going on.
Obsessed.
It's like China just leans over, whispers in Hunter's ear, and she's like, "I what do you mean? I have everything to prove. Like you hear how he runs his mouth, blah blah blah." And then she whispers in his ear again. He's like, "Oh, well, I have to teach him a lesson." And then she's one more time. He's like, "I know I'm wearing my lucky shirt." And like
Which,
all
by the way, the
it's a
shirt
China
is
shirt.
China.
Love to see it. And so he's getting ready for his match, and that takes us on into our next match, which is 8 Ball taking on Kurgan with Jackal. Kurgan, formerly the interrogator of the Truth Commission. Jackal won't stop talking. Um, uh,
Oh
I
God.
I can't. First of all, I don't care about either of these parties. Second of all, I am thoroughly enraged by this man's inability to stop talking.
Shut
He
up.
calls Kurgan the alpha and omega of my life.
So,
You getting that dig?
uh, I
You
was about to
getting
say
you getting that alpha and omega? That's everything, bitch. He's your
he's your
everyman.
everything.
That's crazy.
Okay, Mariah Carey, like,
Why are you
sure.
so obsessed
Stuff
with
in
me?
me. Like,
uh,
we
um,
belong together. That's
yeah,
my baby.
crazy. And Jackal the entire time has a microphone in his hand, is like defending his like honor. He like tries to convert like some little girl in the crowd with like a bead on the forehead
A
that he
sticky
wears,
rhinestone gem.
which is ew. And then Oh, so motor mouthed manager. Oh, on commentary, Jim Cornette goes, "I hate a motor mouthed manager," and Jim Ross goes, "I've been saying that," and then it takes like a second for Cornette to be like, "Hey,"
Hey.
and I loved that. I thought
I
that was
love that. I
great.
love their like relationship on commentary. I feel like is
The
so
dynamic, yeah, it's
like
good.
symbiotic. It's really, really good. But
Uh-huh.
I've never heard a man talk so much and say literally nothing.
hmm
Literally nothing like interesting, engaging, like at all,
No,
informative,
he just talked the
nothing.
entire match, which made the match I wasn't interested in even less interesting.
Even worse. Yeah. Oh, what a
So
sin.
Kurgan wins with a sidewalk slam. Of course, the Truth Commission comes in, pack of
Which
hyenas, and then Skull, 8 Ball's twin, comes in with a 2x4
at
to
least
save the
Skulls
day.
came prepared because all the Truth Commission came in was they added green fingerless gloves
Gloves.
and that
And Kurgan lost his shirt, and that was the only difference. Like,
and that was the final straw for me. That was the final straw for me. That was the fingerless gloves. Because what
yeah,
are we doing? And
like
then at least Skulls comes out with a 2x4 because at least he's gonna come prepared to help out
right,
his
like to
mans.
do some damage.
Do
Like, I don't know what.
something.
Well, I don't know. Truth Commission could go away and never be seen again, and it would change my life exactly 0%. So, I'm so sorry to break it to you.
Period.
Um, and honestly, so could the DOA. But here we are.
Boo boo.
The New Age Outlaws are still hunting for mankind in the bowels of the building. We get a quick little. They're still in the midst. That
Mm-hmm.
takes us into our next match, which is Ken Shamrock taking on D'Lo Brown. Love to see it. I actually just very much enjoy both parties in this match.
Love. I loved this match.
We
I love
stand
D'Lo so
we
much.
stand D'Lo in this house.
Stan D'Lo and have been.
Absolutely. I will say Ken Shamrock does a beautiful dragon screw and just to open the match, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, that leg breaker was crazy.
He turned the party this match. I mean,
I was
he
saying I haven't my next note is his technical wrestling skills are getting better. Like he's always been
so
like a
good.
fighter, like so he's technically sound in that way, but the fluidity of like him being a wrestler
Hmm.
is way better. Like the man
He's
has
catching the
taken to
current.
like yeah, like a like fish to water. Like he's really like on it now.
And
And
they love him.
it was a really quick kind of progression if you really think about it. Um,
Definitely.
Shamrock hits D'Lo with a belly to belly, ankle lock. Ken wins the match. It's pretty formulaic at that point.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock comes out. Not The Rock's best promo, but again, he's getting his sea legs. Basically, he calls out. He calls out Ken Shamrock, basically like, "Oh, like you're the king of the UFC." Well, everybody knows the UFC's has-beens never was or never wers.
Which
And
is
he's
a
like,
crazy thing to say, but okay.
right. And then he's like, "Oh, but The Rock's generous. The Rock, I love the thing about like The Rock is that he always speaks in third person and it just cracks me the fuck up every time. He's
Hmm.
like he's like, The Rock is so generous. And I'll tell you what The Rock's gonna do. So The Rock's gonna give you a title shot at the Royal Rumble. Like, what do you think about that?" And then it's so funny, like as he's doing that, like a fan like goes to like slap his arm, like or whatever, he's like, "Don't you ever touch me." He like pulls away, he's like, "Don't you ever touch me." And
And
I live for that.
lived for that, actually. Relatable
100%.
content.
And so the nation is surrounding Ken Shamrock in the ring, and Rocky calls them back. He's like, "Come on." And so Kama and D'Lo obviously confused, because up to this point we were
It
not taking orders from The Rock, but here we are, and they do it. And then that leaves Farouk on the apron looking real pissed, real miffed, really not about that, like, let me stick my tail between my legs and follow them. Crazy.
This is Farouk the kidney breaker, the kidney buster.
Right.
He will not go quietly into the night. I just
No.
don't foresee that. But
Yeah.
wow. I mean, the way he called them like dogs. He was like, comma, D-Lo, let's go.
No,
Like, come
fully.
on, boys. Like,
No. Yeah.
honey, I was shocked.
He's like, "Let's go."
That's crazy.
Love to see it. I
It
love to
doesn't
see
even
it.
include Farouk. He goes, D-Lo, comma,
Mm-hmm.
and Farouk is like,
So good.
wild, wild.
Uh, so HBK hits us with a backstage interview. It's essentially the same interview. It's like, "Oh, I know I have nothing to prove. I'm the WWF champion. I'm the European champion, blah blah blah." He's like, "I know I'm wearing my lucky shirt." And again,
I
it's the China
love
shirt.
that.
I just think it's so cute.
I think
Um,
it's adorable.
get her coin. Absolutely. They said, "You know what?
China.
We're gonna," because for those of you who don't know, wrestlers also get paid from merch sales.
Of course.
So this is probably, being that she's not an in-ring competitor, they were probably trying to like bolster her stuff up, you know?
And I love that. I love the way they are together, like all three of them. I
Uh-huh.
love like they take her so seriously. And
Yeah.
I just fuck with that heavy. Like
Mm-hmm.
so heavy.
Yeah, well, because if even like in the introduction of her, like no one wanted Triple H to do it. Like no one wanted like a girl to be his bodyguard. And he's like, "That's why it works." Because first of all, like F that stereotype. And two, she's not like every girl. Like
Look at that bitch.
that's what I'm saying. Like if she's the girl that could be your bodyguard, like
I
hello?
know. And she's still so fierce. She had the little present on her butt the whole
I
night. That
know.
little,
Love
and she had
that.
a jingle bell in her braid. Oh God. I
Love
love
her.
China so much.
On love it, love it, love it, love it, and
Love
I'm glad we
her.
got that little comedic like same promo twice. Love to see it.
So funny.
So the New Age Outlaws still on the hunt. They finally find him. They finally find him.
And
Mankind comes out. He looks like he's holding like a tray or like a metal trash
something.
can lid. Starts smacking them. Starts beating the New Age Outlaws up while singing Christmas carols.
Yeah, it
Like,
was Jack Frost nipping at your nose, and that nose he smacked one of their faces
yeah,
into like
into
a
like,
freezer, like a one of
yeah,
those old school freezers.
so good.
Oh my
So,
God.
yeah, it was
Yuletide carols being sung by the fire, and he's whacking the shit out of them.
so good. And then
Fierce.
they proceed to double team him and lock him in a freezer.
And I think Jim Cornette was like, he's gonna be the mankind-sicle.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I was like,
okay. But I mean, he really gave them a run
for their
for
money.
their money. I mean, and they're like both like trying to push the door, and just Mick Foley's big thick arm is just like
Mm.
holding it open for the longest time. Oh,
Love to see
I
it.
got scared his fingers were gonna get slammed in there because that
Me
would
too,
be,
honestly, because
whew,
that
that
would
would
be
happen to him.
right.
It was
Yeah.
really great though. I loved
No,
it.
100%. And then yeah. So this next segment, we have Goldust and Luna Vachon coming out. Luna grabs the microphone, tells us that the artist formerly known as Goldust would like to express himself in verse, and starts is he and
It's
starts
Twas the
reading.
Night Before
Yeah,
Christmas.
'twas the night before Christmas. I really don't like this anymore.
I don't like it
I
either. There's something about it that's really
It feels shitty is what it is.
absolutely it does.
It not gonna lie. Like normally I can like, kind of take it on the chin, move on, put it into context of the time that it was. But even in the time that it was, like you know what you're doing.
Yes.
You know what you're playing up. You know who's the butt of the joke.
Yes.
Um and now you're no longer like it no longer feels like you're one of us. It
I was, yes, that
You
is
know what I mean?
exactly what I was gonna say. We're going from, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt
no,
you.
please go ahead.
We're going from the moment where Jerry the King Lawler goes, "Well, aren't you? Aren't you?" And like Goldust never breaks and then just like is like, no, and like punches him in the face or whatever. Like it
Right.
felt more like yes, like one of us or like or one of the alphabet mafia, like whatever. I
No, not
just
even. It's just just like somebody. To me, it seemed like up till this point, he was so confident in his own masculinity that it
that it
didn't
didn't
matter.
matter.
Where
Yes.
now
Thank
it
you.
just feels like it just I don't know. It just feels like a cheap grab at a laugh, and I like it feels demeaning, and I'm over it.
Yes. And it's like you it's enforcing it's enforcing the shitty behavior. It's like I am making myself something you should make fun of by
Right.
adhering to like turning up the volume on like gay stereotypes.
Right.
And that doesn't affect you, but it affects like other like I just don't like it. I just
Yeah,
don't
I'm
like
not
it.
about it. It's one, I don't find it that entertaining. Just
No.
some guy dressed weird reading a children's book. Um, like, hello? Um, it's a wrestling show. Like, what? I don't know what we're doing, and I get it. Like, he's supposed to be like losing his mind, but like there are other ways to go about that. I don't know
Yes.
why like losing his mind meant like stereotypically gay. Like
That's what I said.
and it's
That's what
not
I'm
even, but
saying.
it's not even like because like none of my friends dress like this, and even if they
Girl,
did, like it's like they
it's
just don't. It's just nobody dresses like this. It's just not a thing.
no, it's
And
so even again in the 90s, even in the time it's at, it's like it's not even funny, interesting or engaging, exciting, controversial. It's literally nothing except bizarre and
right,
annoying.
right.
It's not even like an art form. It's like
it's just
I don't
shock.
know.
It's shock for shock's sake, and it's like okay, great. But the thing is,
And
like, it's not that shocking now. You know?
right. And like I said, it's just I don't like the idea of um like being more like ooh, is like synonymous with losing your mind. Like being more like homoerotic is like
Right.
synonymous with losing your mind.
Yeah, and we talked about it before, but I'm just like I am just gonna let you all know I am not going to enjoy this era of Goldust.
No,
Not
and
go-
I hate that.
I'm not going to enjoy it. Just throwing that
And
out there, letting you all know beforehand my feelings on this.
just when his
Um,
character was kind of getting over, I'm gonna be honest. Like defending Marlena, like coming
all this
after
stuff, yeah, and I
and he
know like
just
the whatever in the feud that he was in got pulled because someone died, but it's like we couldn't figure something else out. Like he had to like publicly like shit on his wife and just become this. I don't know. I don't know. Not about it.
I don't like it. I want it to be
So,
really badly, but I'm just not.
right. So as um Goldust is reciting "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," Santa comes out and starts like handing out candy to all the kids at ringside, blah blah blah. He's having a holly jolly time. Luna and Goldust are getting more and more annoyed about it. And Santa comes into the ring and Goldust is still going on. He enters he being Santa comes up behind him and swings his bag for the fences.
Girl,
He takes his little toy bag and tries to knock Goldust's head clear off of his body. Love to
freaked as
see it.
shit.
Turns out there was, oh, I love it. Jim Cornette goes like, I knew there was a red, like a big red man in that suit, and I was right. It's Vader. And I was like, I love it.
I love Santa
I
Vader.
love Santa
I
Vader.
love Santa Vader. Oh, he looked like he had such a great time
He
with
did,
this.
honestly.
Santa Vader. What
Love
an
that.
angel. I
100%.
That's the only Santa I acknowledge at this time. Thank
Right,
you.
100%. And it was announced that at the Royal Rumble, Goldust will be taking on Vader.
I'm
So,
into that.
so what we know so far, is Goldust Vader, the Royal Rumble match, um,
Ken Shamrock and
Ken Shamrock and The
The
Rock,
Rock.
and The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels thus
It's
far.
shaping up too good. And if I'm not am I, wait, I could be wrong. If Ken Shamrock also has to fight in the Royal Rumble and then fight Rocky or The Rock?
Usually, I don't want to say like almost always before there were two Royal Rumbles in one night, the Royal Rumble was last or second to last.
Oh, so
So
we'd have to
chances
fight
are
The Rock
chances
first.
are they wrestle their matches first and then uh the Royal Rumble.
Fierce. I'm psyched for the Royal Rumble.
I love the Royal
I
Rumble.
know you love the Royal Rumble.
I love it.
Xavier's favorite.
I eat that shit up. So, next is our main event. Finally, we have Hunter Hearst Helmsley taking on the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels for the European Championship. This is great. This is quality.
Oh my God.
Uh,
It's
so
the best.
this showdown starts. They're both like just like pandering to the crowd. They both take a moment to like chit chat to China. They lock up for exactly 2 seconds. Triple H kind of like knocks Shawn down. Shawn lays there. Um, Triple H hits the spam on the ropes and just back and forth, back and forth.
It was
Uh,
so funny.
so good. And it's literally like a GIF that people like use when they're like, "Oh, my game's glitching." Like just going back and forth. Does like a big splash on top of Shawn, gets the pin, gets the victory, is the new European Championship. Shawn immediately starts like fake sobbing like into China's lap. Triple H is like celebrating like in the most over the top
Oh my
fashion
God.
you've ever seen. And then HBK gives us like a crying speech and he's like, he's like
So funny.
He's like, I've been in cage matches, I've been in ladder matches, but nothing has been this emotionally draining. And you're like, oh my God.
Oh, it was
And
so
Sergeant
funny.
Slaughter comes out because they got one on him. They
Girl,
Sergeant really thought he was doing something today,
I did
and
too. I thought he
they
really
were like,
served.
oop, oop.
Eggs on your face, diva. That I
So
did not
good.
see this
And
coming.
then it's so good. Triple H grabs the mic and he goes, "Hey Sarge,
I
I
did
did
it!
it!" So good. It was so good. It was
Incredible.
it was perfect. It was so dumb and so them and like exactly the way that was gonna go down. Like they
It
couldn't have gone
was
down any other way.
honestly, it was so camp. Like it was
So camp.
so camp. It kind of like it gives me it reminded me of when we watched the one match with Robert Martyr of Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero.
Mm,
And like it seems like the beginning stages of like what ends up happening in a lot of ways. Do you know what I mean?
hurt.
Where it's almost like silly goofy, but
Mm,
I like it gave me that sense of like what's to come, like that little nibble of like, oh, this
mm.
recipe will
Right.
transform over time, but it will become
Show up.
something so incredible. I I was laughing the whole time. Like from
So
start to
good.
finish, this was so funny but so good. And when they both come out and they're both wearing the China shirts and they look at each other and then look at China and she literally goes
So
like
good.
it's so funny. And then like the coaching moments they have with her just to do that that back and forth ring run
So
in
good.
that Mario style, like doing, doing,
Da-ding,
doing,
da-ding. So good.
unbelievable.
And
The
the Sarge I
crying,
did it was
Sarge, I
so
did it was
good.
the
Killed
icing on the
me.
cake.
Ooh.
Oh my God. And Sergeant Slaughter, he is big pissed. He is
Yeah.
big pissed. He's the principal, the vice principal, and they are the two hooligans that keep coming out on top.
Right.
And
Like this is Saved by the Bell. And like
swear, swear.
and so uh the camera's on Sarge. So Grant, the parties in the ring cannot hear this. But Sarge to himself's like, "Oh, you celebrate right now. You have yourself a grand time because next
Mhm.
week you are going to defend that title against Owen Hart, and you don't even know it yet."
And you don't even know it.
Love it. I
And
love
I
to
love
see
to
it.
see it. And if this match isn't on Netflix, honey.
Girl, I don't think it is. But
Oh God, Netflix.
but I'll see if I can find it for you.
The way I'm Googling Netflix headquarters, I'm just
Like
gonna
to
be like,
send right. Send it to
Maddie in
WWE too.
Euphoria at the door, like,
Yeah,
I
get
just
get
want to talk.
WWE, TKO, and Netflix, and send some strongly worded letters. Um, but that has been this edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. Thank you so much, guys. That is also going to be a wrap on season 2 of the show.
Oh my
Thank you for supporting us for the last 2 years, which is
girl,
crazy.
what? It's insane.
And we are gonna continue our journey until we're all not so new to wrestling anymore. So,
Whoa. Yeah, when's that gonna happen?
amen. There's so much. Who knows?
Oh my, never. It'll never happen for me, but that's okay. That's the joy.
So, for Kelsey, I'm Xavier. We'll catch you on the next one.
We'll see you there.
Bye.
Season 3.